Good morning. Imagine never having to buy gas again, only stopping at a gas station for Cokes, gums, or chips, or anything but gasoline. Today I'm going to speak to you about electric car conversions that will stop you from ever having to buy gas for your car again. Did you know that 7,000 all-electric cars were sold in October of 2012? Now, that's according to alternativefuelsabout.com. Compare that to the hybrids when they were just hitting the market. According to alternativefuels.about.com, in the year 2000, when they were first commercially available in the U.S., they only sold 9,350 hybrids in the entire year. Now compare that to what I just told you a while ago about all electrics. 7,000 all-electric cars were sold in the month of October 2012 by itself. That's almost the entire year's worth of hybrid production and sales in 2000. Now that tells me one thing that's undeniable. Electric cars and hybrids, more or less all-electric cars, more so all-electric cars, are becoming more and more popular in the U.S. So I'd like to talk to you today about electric car conversions. So a lot of people didn't know, but the car you drive right now can be converted to to electric. It can be converted to electric. Or you can just pick any car you want and convert to electric. So you don't have to buy one of them little tennis shoe looking cars that they have, or the little box on wheels that's electric. You can convert any car that you want. You can convert a school bus if you want to electric. Nowadays, they've got the technology to do that. They've actually got city buses that are electric, but that's not very good on range. There are three things I'd like to talk to you about with electric car conversions. One being car selection, because when you choose a car, like I said, you can choose any car that you want. You can choose to convert the car you're currently driving, or you can convert your brother's car or sister's car, an aunt's, uncle's, a friend's, or the easiest thing to do is get them out of a junkyard. So I'd like to talk to you about the battery pack that goes in the car. One of the most important parts of an electric car is the battery pack. It's also one of the most expensive. You can buy the car and convert the whole car, motor, drive, wiring, and everything, for just about the cost of just the battery pack by itself. So, and also I'd like to talk to you about drives and motors just a little bit, because that's a lot of talking with drive and motor, but I'll touch on it a little bit. So, first thing I'm going to talk about is car selection. What kind of car do you want to convert? Do you want a small car? Do you want a sports car? Do you want a family car? Or do you want a minivan? Or do you want an SUV? Or do you want a pickup? Or do you want a car? Like I said, you can convert any of them. But remember, when you're doing it, SUVs and pickups have a lot less range because they're a lot less aerodynamic and they're a lot heavier. So SUVs and trucks and even minivans have less range than your small cars and even family cars. And remember, the full-size cars like Ford Crown Vics, and Mercury, Grand Marquis, Lincoln Town cars, they're going to be less than like Toyota Corollas, Nissan Sentras, Mitsubishi Mirages, and stuff like that. Because the Mitsubishi Mirage and Nissan Sentra and stuff like that are the small, compact car area. And you can actually get into smaller cars now, like Geo Metros, but who wants one of them anyway? You can convert sports cars if you wanted to. You can convert a Camaro or a Corvette. I have known people that's got Corvettes that's converted, and Mustang SVTs that's converted to electric, all electric. Now, so like I said, when you want electric car conversion, the world opens up to a lot more cars that are available to you at that point. Now, moving on to battery selection. Batteries. Batteries mean a whole lot to a car. They are the most crucial part and the most expensive part. We'll start with lead acid. Lead acid batteries are the bottom entry-level type battery. People that's ever converted a car before or anything typically want to start with lead acid because they're the cheapest and easiest to work with. But they have the lowest range and they're very heavy for a car, which with an electric car, weight means a lot. Weight decreases efficiency and uses more power to pull the vehicle. So you want to stay light as you can. So lead acid, it will get the job done. It'll get you where you want to go, more than likely. But there's no pizzazz to it. A lot of times with lead acid, you wind up losing a 4-seat car turns into a 2-seat car or a 3-seat car because of the fact that lead acids are so heavy and so large. Now you move up from lead acid, you've got absorbent glass material or absorbent glass material batteries, AGM batteries. They have a longer range, more kilowatt per hour, a little bit smaller of a pack, but they're considerably more expensive than lead acid, and they're still large, and they're still heavy. They still are very heavy. And then once you move from AGM batteries, you've got lithium batteries. The best battery packs you can build and put in an electric car is lithium packs. Lithium phosphorus, lithium ion, lithium polymer, lithium. It has 2 or 3 times it has 3 times the range of a lead acid and twice the range of an AGM battery. They are half the weight or less than half the weight of a lead acid battery pack, and half the size, go in a lot more compact area. And you can, like I said, you take a lead acid pack that only does 30 miles a charge or 40 miles a charge, where lithium in a conversion can do 120 miles a charge, 100 miles a charge, easy, and they're more performance. So that's your battery selection that you have. So you always want to choose depending on how far you got to go and your budget. You always want to budget to where you can get the type of battery required to get where you need to go. Now, I'll tell you a neat little tidbit of fact here. According to alternativefuels.about.com, electric cars are 80% efficient. You know, gasoline cars are only 14 to 26% efficient. That means for every $100 you spend on gas, only $14 to $26 is actually used to drive the vehicle where you're wanting to go. The other $74 to $85 is just burnt like in a campfire, just burnt to heat production. Now, moving on to drives and motors. Drives and motors, you can choose. Like I said, I ain't gonna touch on this a whole lot because that's a big subject, very technical type subject that you do a lot of research on when you're getting ready to do a conversion. But basics of it is, your drive has to be large enough to accommodate for the motor and the weight of the vehicle that you're converting to. And also, if you're converting a Camaro versus a station wagon, a Camaro, you want it to be able to perform, where you're going to need a larger motor and larger drive, pretty much, for a Camaro. And you can actually, with the technology nowadays, with the series wound motors and the electronic drives, you can actually take a 1990 Camaro that came with a 350 in it, or a 5.7 liter engine, and outperform it with an electric conversion, literally in quarter mile, acceleration, top speed, and everything. Now, the neat thing about electrics is even if you use a larger engine and larger motor and larger drive, it doesn't necessarily hurt its efficiency. You start putting a larger engine in the car, your gas mileage goes downhill. Well, just because you put a larger motor and larger drive in the car doesn't mean its mileage went downhill. It doesn't really change it much. So, that's drives and motors. So today, I've give you an insight into electric car conversions, the ideal of electric car conversions, how to choose a car platform itself, how to choose a battery pack, and how to choose a drive and motor. Remember that even if you are having the work done at a shop, you still have to choose these things yourself. These are things the shop will ask you. Now, I hope that after hearing my speech, you will give the thought of an electric car a closer look. Crude oil is only getting harder and harder to get, so one of these days the price is going to start going up and continue to go up forever. And eventually we'll run out of crude oil altogether, so in the end, eventually you will drive an electric car anyway, because the only thing still going on the road will be electrics.